Hello and welcome to Sustainability Matters. I'm Agatha Afemikhe, your host. On this show, we delve into latest developments and innovative solutions in sustainability. Each episode will bring you expert insights, impactful stories, and practical tips to help you make a difference. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. Welcome to yet another episode on Sustainability Matters. Today we have a very, very important guest with us. We have Oluwatosin Ajide. It's a long name, so I'm going to shorten it. Tosin is the head of programs and partnerships at the NCIC, that's the Nigerian Climate Innovation Center. He has worked across multiple sectors of the economy to evaluate the impact of NCIC programs on businesses. At his current role, he is responsible for the development and execution of structured and integrated climate innovation program initiatives that help SMEs like yours or mine grow the economy, reduce climate crisis, and strengthen economies and communities. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tosin.
Thank you so much, Agatha, for having me. I'm glad to be on your show this morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Fun fact, I met Tosin on LinkedIn. I went through his bio and I was like, I'm really interested to know what really happens at NCIC, especially in the capacity he plays as programs and partnership leads. How is your Saturday going?
Not bad, quite fast, but not bad.
Yeah, I agree. I woke up at like 7 o'clock. I was up and doing, so well done. And thank you so much for doing this with us. Okay, so our very first question will be about how you got into the climate innovation space. And I know you've been doing this for quite a while and you've joined the NCIC as programs and partnerships lead. So I'd like you to run us through how you got into the space, what motivated you to enter into this line of work.
I'm not going to lie to you that it's passion or it's one miracle from somewhere. Yeah. Right? So I was working with an IT organization earlier in my career, and I got the opportunity to join a climate center that was just being integrated, and that was just it. So I didn't have a background in environment or climate, so it's not, I won't even lie that it's a passion. I just got myself there. If there is passion, then the passion came after what I joined, not
wow.
Before. Yeah.
Wow. So what did you study in school and how has that even helped you in any way or the other?
Oh yeah, I study economics, and that has been a great benefit because of the type of or the sector of the climate space we work in, because we help in businesses, to take their business model and to help their, build their strategy of helping their businesses. So economics has actually helped me in that aspect.
Was it ever something for you in the past that, okay, I'll be walking around the innovation space, especially as regards climate change? Have you even heard, before you joined the space, did you even know about climate change?
Well, I mean, just like every other person, I've heard about climate change. I didn't really have any in-depth knowledge of climate change, right? Prior to 2018 when I joined. So, but I knew that there was climate change, but I didn't really have any in-depth knowledge of it until I got into this space. So when I got into this space, I had to do a lot of readings, a lot of, trying to get myself abreast before I started the role.
Awesome. I can also track back to when I was starting in the sustainability space. I've always been in finance, just like you. I got recruited just because of my finance and oil and gas background, I was recruited to start up a sustainability department at my current organization. And that period was months and months of reading, like climate change from where to where. So I'm actually excited to see someone that didn't know much about the space coming into the space and doing great stuff in it. So how long have you been with the NCIC?
To be 6 years. 6 years.
Wow.
Soon. I should be 6 years in like 2 months. Yeah.
Wow.
So fun fact, I was one of I was the pioneering staff of NCIC. Wow. So when the hub was started, I was the first staff that was being recruited.
The first staff?
Yes, that was being recruited.
Wow. Did you start up as program and partnership leads, or you kind of grew up the rank?
No. I started with evaluation and community manager.
Oh,
community officer, yes.
Interesting. Okay. So now we can move to the businesses that NCIC supports. I want us to bother a little on the key eligibility criteria for some of the startups or projects, especially for people that are seeking to participate in some of the programs that NCIC runs. Can you run us through that?
It's going to be a little bit, I won't say difficult, but I have to spell it out because NCIC programs or projects runs, we have several programs and several projects. So going to be difficult for me to just say this is the criteria for our NCIC projects, because these criteria might not meet for the next programs that we are doing, or different programs. So we run at different stages, right? We have programs for ideation stage, we have programs for market entry stage, we have programs for acceleration, to accelerate. You're already in business, you want to get your business accelerated. We have programs for growth stage, right? So each criteria for each kind of programs, right, depending on the stage of the program we are working on, right? For example, if you are at the ideation stage program, right, the criteria might be a little bit lesser, right? All you need to do is have a solid idea, right? A solid idea that you want to turn into a business, right? So at that stage, you might not necessarily have to have a lot of criteria. At that stage, what you just need is a solid idea and commitment and passion to be able to build it to become a business, right? So at that stage, what we look out for is nothing too extraordinary. We'll check your write-up on your knowledge of your idea, right? Then we'll check the the innovation in it, right? And check if it's an idea that is ready to become a business, because there's some ideas that are fantastic, and if you're in this space, you understand that there are some ideas, the business you miss, they are great, you love it, but if you be in this space, you know that turning this to business is going to be a big deal, right? It's better you just be an NGO, or just be just be an
you can't make money from this. It's just
exactly. So we have to you have to sit down to evaluate that, to know where you fall for your category you fall under, right? So at that stage, you might not need huge criteria, right, but just to have a knowledge about what you're doing, because one thing is many applicants don't understand that they don't do a widespread research on their ideas, right? You have a brilliant idea, you love it, you are ready to run, but you don't read extensively on it, have a good background or a good knowledge of it. So if you've been asked a follow-up questions, many of them cannot have answers, right? Or many people just go to ChatGPT, we just put it across there, what's this business is my business, then they will copy everything from ChatGPT and put it in your application, right? And in the end of the day, you get exposed, right, during the screening process, because we have a thorough screening process, right? So for market entry stage, the criteria might go from having a prototype, or having an MVP, to having a solid team. At that stage, we also look at team also, right? Look at your team, look at your early to market, ability to get market early, right, and quicker, right? Because at that time, you don't want an innovation that you support and you are still not market ready after like 2-3 years, right? So we always check quickness to market, how quick can we get you to market, check the innovation behind it, and check if you have MVP, and if you have the knowledge to drive it and the motivation to drive it, right? If you don't want people that it's because I can't find a job, I just decided to do this because people are doing it. I'm not saying that is not a valid reason, right? I'm just saying that your passion should be beyond I couldn't find a job and I decided to do this, because if you're in the green space, if you don't have genuine passion, you will leave it. I promise you. There's enough challenge in the green space for you to run on. I can't find a job and I decided to get into the green space. You have to have a passion for it to to remain in it, right? So if you are at the incubation or the acceleration stage, then we look at things like your tractions, right? The traction you've been able to make. We look at the team that drives it. We look at climate impacts, right? We look at your value proposition. We look at what stands you different from the others, from your competitors. We look at the deal itself, your business itself, right? We also look at the timing of it. Is it the right timing? Is it a problem, right? Because we know there is a problem. Green climate change. There's a lot of problems around climate change, right? But is the problem being seen as a problem? Because that's one of the what distinct NCIC from so many green organizations, right? We understand the place of awareness, the place of creating awareness and being an activist on climate change, but the reason why the hub is really set up is to drive the green economy of Nigeria, right? So it's about the business part of your idea, right? So in as much as you are making a good social impact, a good campaign and awareness, is it a business, is it commercial, Can you make money from it? Is it profitable? Because, and I think that's one of the major issues we have with the green space, right? Many green innovators think they just need to make social impact. No, you need to stay in business. You need to be profitable. If you are not profitable, you don't have a business. And the worst part is that the good you want to do, the social good you want to do, you won't be able to do it if you are not profitable. You cannot stay in business.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So exactly. So we always try to make sure that you understand that you are in business. You are just like every other startups, the fintech startups that are there trying to make money. The difference is that you are doing good. You are making sure the environment, the social aspect, the impact is being made, right? It doesn't excuse you from making profit or being a business, a solid business. So we always try to help you see your business model. You see your business model, see your business plan, and see if it makes sense, right? There are some instances that we'll drop you if it don't make sense. There are instances that we think we can work on you, we have to work on. You just need to do of tweaking, then we do that, right? So there are different criteria we look at depending on the programs or the project, right? But you just need to, but most importantly, understand your business, right? Understand the business, understand, and make sure that who you are selling to, your customers, see what you are selling as a problem, see what you see as a problem, right? Because you can address a problem, but the people you are solving it to might not see it as a problem. So at the end of the day, you don't have a business because they won't buy it, right? Just like you pointed out that that should lift up the room a little bit, right? I did see it as a problem, but it's not as a problem, right? That's a component. I can then sell to you because I saw that you're my customer and you saw it as a problem. So if if your customer cannot see that what you're selling is a problem for them, then you don't have a business. So you need to factor all those part of your business to make sense before you can say you want to get into a program that will incubate or accelerate you to become a business.
This is so amazing because you're not just, the reason for this program is for small businesses, people that are looking for direction. For example, for programs like the NCIC. So it is not just for the small businesses. I'm learning a lot. If the people you're producing for do not see that there's a problem, you're wasting your time. So that's really amazing. You mentioned something about incubator. Is it possible that you guys have a quota or a certain amount of money that you're supposed to give out in grant yearly? Has there been a case where no business met up to the criteria, so for that year you guys didn't disburse any fund or any competitions?
Luckily for us, we don't have those instances because the way NCIC works, we partner with different organizations, investors, so the money has to go out. So if we see that they're not business that can get this, we create business that will get it, right? So if we realize that the business are not getting to the point as we make the business, then that's the reason why we are incubating them, and that's the reason why we are accelerating them. So we'll get them to the stage where they can get the money, right? So we will always eventually give out the funds in the long run. We just need to make sure we get you ready for those funds.
Has there been a time where the recruitment process, for lack of better words, took longer than it should have because you guys weren't finding something worthy of investment?
Of course, I mean, there's instances that we have to extend the call for application period because after evaluating the whole application in the first round, we couldn't get enough like the decent ideas or decent businesses. And sometimes you don't want to keep what's the word? You don't want to keep running through the same circle or supporting the same business because you might have supported the business last year and these are another project entirely. They still apply for it. The same set of people, right? Even though they're qualified for you want to, even if you take one or two of them, you still want new fresh ideas to also benefit from what you're trying to do, right? So I mean, there are instances where we have to extend the period of call for entry because of lack of good quality applications. But again, it's also up to us to make sure that we communicate it very well and spell out the application process very well, because sometimes it might not even be the right business. Sometimes it might just be reaching them, right? So sometimes we have to have a very good call for application strategy. Make sure we communicate it to the right group of people, the right set of people to apply.
Interesting. Thank you for that feedback, Tosin. So moving on to the next question that we have. Are there specific sectors? It's 2024, right? I know this might have evolved over the years since 2018, but currently, are there specific sectors or a certain kind of projects that the NCIC prioritizes right now, especially for its competitions and incubation programs?
When we started, I mean, it was four major sectors. It was water sector, waste sector, smart agriculture, and renewable energy, right? But now we've had circular economy. There is no way you not incorporate circular economy, right? So as at 2020, we have to evolve and have circular economy. Some people will tell you that circular economy is still the same thing as waste management, right? In as much as they cut across each other, but there are still a little bit of distance, right? So I also have smart buildings, right? That is one sector that is growing, and a lot of people are beginning to have interest. Smart building and smart transportation, right? So in the long run, we've been able to incorporate some of these new sectors that people are looking at. Smart building, smart transportation, and circular economy. So we have about 7 that we focus on right now. The 4 we started with, and the 3 we've added to it, right? But in the long run, like I always say, it's about you being able to justify what you do, right? Whatever it is you are doing, so far as climate, I think NCIC can look beyond if it's under our sector or not, right? It's just about how you're able to explain what you do, because in the long run it's about the climate, right? It's about the environment. If you're able to justify it, even if it's not a sector we are in currently, it doesn't harm to try and test what you're doing and see how it works.
Which of the sectors have been most funded from your experience so far in the NCIC? Which one would you say has received the most funding?
Definitely renewable energy, and we always have people from other sectors always carrying bands at us and all, but to be honest, it's renewable energy, and there is little you can argue about it. It's probably the one at the forefront, and it has more interest all over the world, right? So definitely it's renewable energy.
Moving on, can you walk us through the normal application process from start to finish to when the applicant clicks submit? Can you walk us through that?
Click submit. I think there is just anyways for each like I said, for each programs, right? So each project we always have different criteria. So these criteria are what we use to generate the application questions that each applicant will fill in, right? Some might be less than 6. You'll be surprised. Some might be more than 20, depending on the project, right? And the criteria or the objective of the program, right? So in some instances, you might have to provide some supporting documents. For example, if you say you are registered, you might need to provide your CAC registration certificate. Some you might need to present, your business plan, depending on what the program is, right? So what we usually just do is we just make sure, like I said, we'll have a strategy to put it at the right places for people to see, then you click. It's mostly on our website, on our social media. I always tell people follow our social media, right? You always see all our programs. So once we start an application process, it's always on our social media. And some most are always on our website, but there are some that are being exempted from the website depending on the kind of project we are running. But it's very rare that you should not be on our website. But again, if in case it's not on our website, your safest bet is our social media. They are just check all our LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. You always get the right information there. So once you click on it, you'll be asked some few questions where you have to respond, and I just always say don't be lazy with your response, right? And your responses, you don't be lazy with it. I've seen a lot of people that have potential to probably get into it, but they are lazy. Just leave like 1 or 2 sentences. I'm not saying you should write episodes, right? But I'm just saying to show that, I mean, even me that I'm trained, I don't want to read the episode, but at least just give a few lines that will make you understand what you are doing and then know how you are doing it. Many people are able to tell you what they are doing, but they won't be able to tell you how they are doing it. And in most cases, during screening, you might not have the opportunity to probably put some additional information or your link for me to see how. So it's very important that you put how. Like I always tell people when I'm taking, your a pitching class, right? If you are doing your elevator speech, three things are important: what I'm doing, how I'm doing, and who I'm doing it for, right? So once you're able to capture those three things, I understand what you are doing perfectly. So what you are doing shows the essence of, like, the main thing you are doing. How you are doing it shows what are the process of you doing it. You don't need to spell it out, right? Who are you doing it to, right? Who are your customers? That makes me understand that, okay, these are the people you are targeting, and I can then assume if it's the right business for me to to screen. So it's always very, very simple, right? So once you are asked what you are doing, it might not be all questions that will ask you, what are you doing, how are you doing, who are your customers. It might just be just one question: what is your business? In less than 5 lines, you can easily, even 4 lines, you can easily say what you are doing, how you are doing it, who your customers is. If, let's say, what you do is probably a food processing or a food drying innovation. What you are doing, I dry processed food, through solar powered machine for rural markets. Now it's as simple as that. You don't really need to give a long details, but many people just omit some of these things, right? So just make sure you put the right questions, you answer the right questions, and give the right responses, and don't be lazy about it. You don't really need to go to ChatGPT, right? I'm not saying you can't go to ChatGPT to read about it, right? You can read to just have a knowledge of what you want to put there, but don't copy and paste. There are some responses that I will say, "I'll know this is ChatGPT," right? It's quite easier to detect these days, right? So there are some English you will see there that I don't think you came up with this English, right? And sometimes many of us don't understand that this AI are not probably powered by a Nigerian or so. So there are some languages and there are some terms that they will use. This doesn't apply to us, right? So exactly. So you need to be careful if you are using things like AI. Just make sure that if you read it, you understand it, you're able to to put it down in your own words, and make sure that you're actually doing the work. Because even if you pass through the screening process, when you get into the program, you'll be exposed if you don't have an idea of what you are doing, right? So it's always important that you are doing the work while you are applying, right? So I think that's just the major thing. Then after the application process, we go through, depending on different programs we run, we sometimes may have like 2 or 3 different screening processes. The first screening process is we always call it the weeding out, right? We weed out some applications because there's applications that you tell people that this is a agri, it's a smart agriculture program. People selling shoe will still apply. People selling clothes will apply. People that are selling maybe fish will apply, right? Whereas it's been spelled out that this is for cultivation and farming or something, right? So we first do the weeding out. People that doesn't even in any way should even apply in any way. We weed that out. Then we go through the second screening to just see people that have something reasonable to put down. Then maybe the high level programs, right? Then we get some consultants, right? That are in the space that would then screen it properly and give us the selected group. So if you have maybe like 10, 15, 20, then you might have to get a higher level consultant that are in the space that understand what a good applications look like. Then they help us. So sometimes I might join the group of the consultants to be able to see to select those stuff. But if it's like an hackathon, an hackathon, you don't really have to have much ideas. You are still at that early stage to develop so many things. You might not have a high level screening process. You might just do the weeding, and the second process is just see that you make sense. Once you make sense, then you get into the hackathon. It's during the hackathon, then we'll now start during the capacity building. We'll now start eliminating you gradually, right? But for like incubation and acceleration program that is a little bit high level, or a growth program or an investment program, right? You might need to get a consultant to help us, do a thorough high level screening to get like maybe the top 10, the top 20, the top 15, depending on the number we've agreed to select for that program.
It's really, really serious work that you do, and to be honest, I don't envy you.
I've been screening a project, an application for an agri program, about almost 1,000 2,500 applications.
That was what I was just going to ask you. I was just going to ask you, what's the most application you've gotten for a single program before?
I think about 3,000 plus.
Oh my God.
Yes, and you might need to select just 10 or 15 out of that.
And you have to go through all of them. All of them.
Yeah, so sometimes you might not have more than a week window to do that. So sometimes it's crazy work, right?
So like, do you ever look at an application and then from the first 2 lines, you already know this is the winner?
Yeah, I mean, I always say it's really, like I always tell people, when you are pitching, even for an investor, someone that invests in you, the first 1 to 2 minutes, they will know if you have a business, right? So there's some application you will read and be like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing, right? So you'll be able to just tell that this guy knows what he's doing.
Interesting. So aside from financial support, what other types of assistance does NCIC provide to participants in some of these programs? There's training, I know that much.
Yes, capacity building is one major thing NCIC does, and innovators don't want to hear it. And we always tell them, money is good, money is great, funding is great, but if you don't have the capacity for it, you will always go back to square one. This is not to inspire you or to motivate you to to attend trainings and all. It is well proven. It is well tested. I mean, I always tell people, whenever you have a program and I see people are probably not taking it serious, I always tell them, in the long run, it will tell. I mean, it's not even the long run is not even like in like 1 year. In 6 months, you will see. You see businesses that pay attention, because apart from even being a green business, normal business, you tell people that listen to build capacity. Business is about capacity. If you don't have capacity for it, there are some decisions you take, there are some move you are going to make that is not going to be about just your knowledge alone that you think you've read. It's going to be about the capacity you've been able to build over time, right? So that's why we carefully select some modules, some topics, to help you build this capacity, to help you build, things like customer acquisition, right? Go-to-market strategies. These things might look as simple as anything, but really, you understand people that understand it. You see how they are doing good. You see people they'll come and meet me and tell me, "Oh, these guys are always want me winning investment, getting investment, winning grants." It's not rocket science. These guys, I know them. I knew when they were, in the attending class, asking questions, trying to build their capacity. It's not rocket science, right? You need to pay the price. You need to be able to listen to people. You might have your eyes on the money, right? And no knowledge is wasted. I always tell people, even if you've attended 10 classes that have talked about customer acquisition, the 11th one might just give you just one word again that you need to add to what you've learned. Right, so it's never too much, because many people tell you that we've already got trained, we know this, we do that, even me, right? But really, no amount of training is too much, right? Especially for this kind of sector you are in. The climate space evolves almost every time, right? There's always you're in the sustainability sector. You always see there's always new thing everywhere. You always need to help boost your capacity. So you always need to be ready to. Will hardly give any funding or any grants without capacity building preceding it.
Right.
We always make sure, even if we know that you've attended a previous capacity development class, we'll still do. Yeah. Right, because we need to be sure that we give you this money. We've had guys that we've given money to, and less than 3 months they are nowhere to be found. Right, not even because they want to go away with your money, but because they don't know what to do with that money. Right, you're in the waste collection sector, you win a grant of maybe about $10,000-$20,000, right? You have a lot of things to put in place, but you are ready to spend like $15,000, $10,000 on truck, right? If you are not at the pay that you need that truck, you are just wasting that funding, because the truck will get that money from you. You keep servicing the truck. You need to have gone to a stage before you say you need the truck, right? So when we see this is one of the things we help you see. We'll sit down to see what are your needs, what are your immediate needs, right? You don't have some machines, you are looking for trucks, right? So when you get so many plastic, you don't have the capacity to even to help sort or bale or to do some of these things or compress some of these things that you say you need, or shred. So why are you getting truck? That is not your immediate need, right? So if you don't have a capacity, you've wasted it $10,000 and you don't know where the next one is coming from, right? So it's really important that you build your capacity. So apart from that capacity, we do mentorship. also offer some services, like some third-party services. Depending on the programs, it can help you get some HR advice, financial advice, accounting advice. Because most of these businesses might not be able to hire some of these professionals to do some of their dealings, right? So if we have budgets in some of those projects, we get some professionals in our pipelines that we then help them, their business, we outsource them to our business, maybe for 6 months, for 3 months, or when you need them. We can say in the next 2 years, if you need accounting services, you can always reach out to this person twice a week, once a week, just to help you do most of this thing, because recruitment is one of the major problem startups have. Most when you say startup, hiring is an accountant, your income is not even up to $1 million a month, right? So why do you need an in-house accountant, right? So why don't you just have something once a week, someone that just maybe on Thursdays comes in, help you do your books and all, and till next week, because you don't need them sitting down. You hire an accountant that will not do anything for like a week. So why are you paying them for that? Well, why not outsource some of these things to someone that just come once, twice a week to help you push it together? So these are some of the things we do: investment readiness, get ready for investments, market matchmaking and all, right, and exhibitions. So we have a lot of things we do. I mean, it's an hand-to-hand business building or venture building for NCIC.
Wow, well, that's very impressive. Well done to all of you and your team for this good work. Just a personal question: have you ever had someone come block you on the road before, or send you a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn and say, "Oh, I sent an application, it didn't go through"? Have you ever had any issue of harassment from applicants before in the past?
Definitely, and we have people that, even competitions, right? People that did not win, that will come to you and tell you that they believe they did better than people that won. They did this, you didn't consider them, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, right? There will always be people that will come up to you like,
how do you deal with that?
I mean, it's not everybody you grant audience to, but as much as possible, if I see that you actually probably tried, right, I will sit you down and make you understand some factors that might probably didn't allow you win or didn't make you get selected, right? You have to know that some of these judges or some of these people that are screening, they are humans, right? And people also have things they prefer, right? They have their personal preference, right? So
you just have to hope that it favors you. If it doesn't,
exactly.
It doesn't.
And that is why you have to make sure that your application stands out, right? Regardless of the kind of preference I have, if your application makes a lot of sense, despite my preference, there is no way I'll close eyes to what you do, right? So there'll always be backlash, so you just have to know how to deal with them. Most of the time, you just sit them down and make them understand, and I always let them know there will always be programs. Just keep looking at our space. You will definitely find the one that you eventually get in.
Yeah, that's actually a good place to end your last thoughts. How many times do you guys host these programs or some of these application processes in a year? How many times does NCIC have these programs recur in a year?
I can't give you a figure because it depends on the project, right? There are some years that we do as much as 10. There are some years that we do as low as 3, 4. I mean, depending on the funding that we have, right? So depending on funding and the partnership we'll be able to secure, right? There are some years that are going to be so much, right? Even we ourselves will feel it the impact, in-house. And there are some years that might be a little bit slow. I mean, I think 2021 was quite slow. There are some years that we will do more. There are some years. Yeah, there are some years that you do a lot. So I can't give you a figure, but I can tell you that at least every year we always have quite a number of programs that we do.
Interesting. Well done. We're getting to the end of this interview. Can you share some of the success stories, especially brands that you supported that are actually currently doing big things in this space?
I mean, yes, we have Dose, got $10,000 grant. We have HomeFort, he got $10,000 grant from us. These guys are doing quite well. They're doing good. We have Sunday of Pet Points. He got 3.5 million naira to help, set up his collection space, and he's doing well. I mean, I can go on and go on. We have Vector Energy. We have Spombatech. I mean, the list is quite much, and they are quite doing well. It's just there'll always be the ones that are struggling. There'll always be the ones that that are not there. We have Oluwatosin Ajide in Ibadan that is doing hydroponics, farming, right? We there are quite a number of them. The list is endless, right? And we have some that are not also successful, and it's not even because maybe they are not good or they're not passionate, but business can just be a cruel place sometimes, right? You might be doing everything right, and it's not just your time, right? So I always say that's why I said, if you don't have passion for it, this space is not for you, right? Because you always see challenges that will make you want to drop out, right? So when we have success stories, we have guys that are not so successful, also that are still trying one way or the other to still help you connect, and that's one thing NCIC always does, right? Even beyond our programs, right? I said we do market matchmaking and access to investments, right? This week I've been able to, I have like a USVC that reached out to me, based on what we do, to recommend few businesses in our portfolio that they can invest in, right? So these are some of the things that we do. So it might not even be an investment in NCIC directly or grant from NCIC directly. We link you up with the several investments out there. There are some people that will not want to probably set a program with us directly, that maybe an incubation program or investment program, but they have their own funding. So all they ask is for our database to see those that meet their requirements, and we do that also. So whether directly or indirectly, we always find way of looking for funds for businesses, and that's why I always tell businesses that this space is big, I think that is small, right? So make sure you are not always keeping bad blood. Because you didn't win a tournament doesn't mean you should, hold grudges against the organization that is doing the program, or be against the person doing the judges or the co-organizers, right? So I always tell people at the end of every of my program, I always say it before anybody departs. I always tell them, don't think because you didn't get money from this, NCIC is now your enemy. You talk bad about NCIC, you don't know what will happen. I always tell them, you will see me in front. You always see me in front, because anybody coming in the sector will still reach out to NCIC. We have partners that will reach out to NCIC. We've had investors that, after doing their due diligence, they've done everything. They will write up to saying, you know what, we've done our due diligence. This guy is good. This guy is a good fit. But do you know him? What can you say about him? If you give him bad blood or anything, I will not tell investors that. I will tell he's a good businessman, but I can't testify to his attitude. And attitude matters to investors, right? So always try not to be in bad blood with it. The ecosystem is big, at the same time is very small. We know ourselves, everybody knows everybody. So don't think that because the new organization you want to go and apply to, they are friends with NCIC. Despite the ones that are angry too, they're also friends with NCIC too. So you don't. So you might
not offend Tosin, please. Don't offend Tosin.
It's not just Tosin. Any organizations, right? Any hubs, any organization you are applying to, you might think, oh, this organization is bad, but I'm in good place with NCIC. Fine, might be in good place with NCIC, but they might be our partners, right? So if they have something bad to say about you, they tell us, right? So you just make sure everywhere you are going to, you don't make enemies.
That's actually very, very important, because like you said, it's not just funds that investors are looking out for. They're also looking out for attitude, even approach to life, because these people will work closely with you. If you're not someone that can see reason, then there's a problem already. 100% agree with you, because I know that Nigerians can be crazy. I know, trust me. No, I can imagine for someone in your position what you have to go through daily from people. Trust me, I have an idea. I understand. So post-project support, right? How long does that take? Okay, after funding, we watch over you for 2 months, 1 month, 3 months. What does that look like? Post-funding support.
Depending on what you define as post-funding support, right? There are some post-funding support that they are part of the scope of the program, right? For example, let's say we have a post-incubation support, maybe it's for 6 months, right? So within that period of time, we spell out what we'll do for you. That's where we have all this added advantage, mentorship, outsourcing of professionals and all, right? But like I always say to people, NCIC support never ends. Right, I have businesses that we incubated in 2019. We are still in very good, close allied with them, right? So
nice.
They can come tomorrow and tell you that they need this. If it is within our capacity, we still give it to you, right? So our alumni are still part of our support system, right? We always still try to support them. But there are some post support that are part of the programs, right? So it might be maybe for the next 6 months, for the next 1 year. You can always come back to request for this, request for that, and all, right? But post programs, maybe you've ended the program totally, even the post support you've ended it totally, you still get support from NCIC. You can still always knock on the door of NCIC anytime to request for some things, not funding or it's not part of the project, or any other kind of support. Maybe you need recommendation letter, you need mentorship, you need some proposals, orientation skills, or you need someone to help you look at your business plan. You can always reach out to NCIC. They know this already, right? This is one of the things we offer.
Nice. That's actually very nice. So I want you to mention just 2 common mistakes you found that applicants do, just 2 off the bat.
It's going to be difficult to mention too. Maybe I will just say the ones I can mention. Is it when applying for
general end to end? What, like in general, end to end? Whatever comes to mind when it comes to applicants.
This is like a topic on its own for like an hour. Right? During application, like I say, just be genuine. The number one thing is know your ideas or know your business very well. Know your business very well. If you know your business, 50% of the problem is being sorted, right? If you know your business, you know the right people to recruit, you know the right business model to go for, you know the right words to use, the right times to use, right? Because during application process, some applicants might have the idea but might not have the way to express themselves. But if you know your business, it's quite easier for you to express yourself, right? Build your capacity. Many times entrepreneurs get exposed that they don't know what they are doing in the long run, right? So you need to build your capacity, right? Then peer-to-peer learning is form a cluster, learn from people that have done some of these things, right? So you need to be able to learn from some of these people. I made a comment on LinkedIn recently about one of our innovators that quoted me, that he met me somewhere. I was just trying to post on LinkedIn, and I quoted him. I told him that it's quite exciting to see how he's been able to grow over the years, right? I knew him when he was 2 years or 3 years into the business, and I know what he is right now, and it's just based on capacity building, right? He has been at least 2 or 3 of our programs, right? I met him recently. He was speaking in a totally entire different program, and I was just part of the mentors at that program, and he was speaking, and I was very, very, very impressed. And I was just in my head, I was thinking of when I first met this guy, right? You just show that you have to build your capacity, or else you'll be exposed, and you need to also be able to get the right team, right? Get the right team. Your team is very important. Investors are more interested in your team sometimes more than even your business, right? You might have the best ideas for you. Oh yes, it's people that drive your ideas or drive ideas are most of the time more important than the idea itself, right? Because if I have the great idea and I have a lazy person driving it, then what is the point in the long run? So
I see that.
Most investors you can take it anywhere. Most investors are more interested in who drives an idea than probably the idea itself, right? So the idea is important, the idea is great. It's also you need to get the right idea, but it's more importantly you need to have the right set of people driving it, right? Get the right people driving it, then get co-founders. Don't build alone. Get co-founders, get people. It is quite better for me to know I'm dealing with a team than to know I'm dealing with an individual, right? If you come as an individual, if you make a mistake, the mistake is being associated with the business. But if you're a team, if you make a business, I will know that it's you that made the mistake, not the team. That means the other team members might know more than you know, right? So it's always important that you don't come as a person sometimes, come as a team. So that when you make a mistake, the mistake doesn't stop up your entire business, right? So get a team, be very intentional about your business, know your business, and most importantly, document your growth, build your traction. This is very important. This is far, far more important. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I've been in this system for a while, right? Especially when you are not at that early stage. When you're at that early stage, ideation, prototype, market entry, you can be pardoned to an extent if you don't have traction or documented, growth. But when you are getting into the market and you are seeking for investments or getting partners, it is very important. Get your books right, get your accounts audited, get your statements of account ready. Get your board of advisors or board of directors. When you get to a stage in your business, it's no longer pardonable to not have board of advisors. you have to be accountable to some people. Nobody will put their money in a business that is just one man business that doesn't answer to anybody. Get a board of advisors, right? If you're not making money yet, or you're not making enough profit,
Yeah, thank you so much, Tosi. I lost you there for
get the board of directors. Get a board of directors ready and make sure you do a meeting. Please, it's very important. Document your progress. The reason I'm saying this is that it is always very key to me because I do a lot of due diligence, right, for investors, and I have to recommend if they should invest or not. It pains me when I've incubated you, when I've known you over the years, and I still cannot recommend you for investment just because of keeping your books. I had to do that recently. An investor reached out to me to help them do due diligence. I know this business, they are my good friends and all, but I mean, my integrity is at stake. I cannot recommend you if you have not passed the skills. So please document your progress right from now, from this moment. Document your progress and your traction so that when investors comes, you can open your book and let them see all the progress you've made so far and be transparent enough to everybody.
Tosin, to be honest, it's only something that someone enjoys doing that they can talk about for this long, to be honest. This passion is inside your blood and I love it. I love it so much when I see people enjoy what they are doing, especially because you do it on a daily basis. So to be honest, your life kind of revolves around your job. So I'm very excited to see that you're very, very passionate about this. So just as a closing question, if you weren't in this space, what else would you have been doing? Let's say, for example, NCIC did not recruit you. What else would you have been doing with your life?
I don't know. Maybe I'll be in the admin space because I'm an office person, right? So I'll definitely be in an admin, one office place doing an admin work or an HR work, right? HR or admin, I'll definitely be in HR and admin. I'm an office person. I like office. They know me in my office. Even if they say don't come to office, I'll come to office. I'm an office person. Right?
I need to build a company employee because you're like the ideal employee. What do you mean don't come and you're still coming?
I just like being in the office, right? That's why I'm not totally in support of remote work. I'm always voting against this. Let's have hybrid. Let me be coming to office.
You're an enemy of progress, obviously. You're an enemy of progress. I will not take it. Thank you so much.
Let's do hybrid.
No, it's fully remote. Anything you want to do, we can do it from home. We can do it from home, 100%. So my closing question, aside from where our viewers can find you to connect with you and all of that, is what are the future trends you're envisioning in climate innovation space? Let's say in the next 5 years, say you're reviewing some application. What do you expect to see in those applications?
Technology, innovation, right? We've gone past the stage of planting trees. Like planting trees is very good. I love planting trees. I'm involved in planting trees, right? But you have to find a way to innovate yourself, right? You can't have a business. You can't just be turning pure water sachet to something. You have to show us the innovation behind it, right? It might not be too much of technology. You just need to let us know that to survive the test of time, and that's where innovation comes in, right? So innovation and technology is very important. Diversity and inclusion is very important. Very soon, your inclusion is going to be one of the major key things, right? That will be considered. You have to be very inclusive, and you need to, check the gender balance and make sure you have a gender balanced team. I mean, that's not even the future. It's here already, right? And you also need to, be conversant of your impact. Measure your impact, right? As you are building your business, you are checking your financial. Also take note of your impact you are making, right? So we want to see beyond what just your numbers or your figures. Let's see the impact you are making, right? So I think those are the major things we'll look out for in the future.
That's perfect. That's very, very perfect. Thank you so much, Tosin, for coming to do this with us. I'm going to put you on the spot now and say that every month we have a special episode where we have physical interviews in a proper studio with our guests. I'm going to put you on the spot for next month because I feel like you have a lot that people can actually learn from you. So I'm going to put you on the spot for September special. We will really, really like you for our physical interview where we just sit with you in a proper studio, have like a proper conversation, especially on impact measurements. It was one of the questions I had, but I know that it's a lot to unpack. So we'll be able to maybe just sit down and have like a conversation.
We can talk about impact measurements. I mean, it's one of the major things I do with NCIC, measuring impact, right? And so I'm happy to, but please give me a notice, right?
I'll give you 3 weeks notice. I'm kind. I'll give you 3 weeks
Good.
notice.
Because
Yay,
even today I
I
have to shovel a lot of things
Oh my God. So
right
thank you so much.
So
That's what I'm even actually very grateful for. I know that even with this interview we've had, people that are trying to apply, when they watch this, they'll get a lot of knowledge from what you've shared today. So God bless you. Thank you very much. Where can people find you? Let's say, for example, someone has listened and said, I have a lot of questions. I need to text Tosin. Where can people find you?
LinkedIn is your best bet. I'm always active on LinkedIn. If I give you my other social media, you get response in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But LinkedIn, I'm very active on LinkedIn. Just type Oluwatosin Ajide, not Tosin Ajide, Oluwatosin Ajide on LinkedIn. Connect with me. I'm quite active on LinkedIn. I mean, that's where Agatha reached out to me, and I think my response was quite fast. So
Yes. Okay, please reach out to Tosin on LinkedIn. Not Tosin, because I'm calling him Tosin. People I'm looking for Tosin. It's Oluwatosin Ajide on LinkedIn. Thank you very much. Let me release you now to go about the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to Sustainability Matters. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget, new videos premiere on our YouTube channel every Wednesday. Follow us across our social media pages to stay updated on the great content we have for you. Until next time, stay green and stay inspired.